For we could do nothing against the truth before the truth. I'll start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to YAHAWAH, BaHa YAHAWASHI, BaHa QADASH. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations unto the way like tabernacle of David, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And I want to deal with the second question from this article that we're dealing with. Thought-provoking questions to dismantle the 12 tribes chart from none other Vocab Heyman Malone. All right, the slithering snake. And in my previous lesson, I actually dealt with the first part. All right, why do the original 12 tribes chart only contain locations and peoples in the western hemisphere of the globe when we're supposed to be scattered as a nation? So I covered that in the last video, pulled out, the prophecies concerning that. And I want to deal with the second one. Why does the chart switch back and forth from ethnic groups to geographical locations? All right. So, how do we identify the ethnic groups based on geographical locations? Well, for one, you had in Genesis, the 49th chapter, where Jacob actually gave clues. He gave geographical clues concerning the eschatos of his sons. Like, for an example, in the last lesson that I did, I used the example of the tribe of Zebulun. What did it mean when it said that Zebulun would be a haven for ships? And when you look at the ancient map of Israel, the land of Zebulun, or the inheritance of Zebulun, was not on the coast. That would be Asher. So, where there would be ships, all right, with deep seaports in the land of Zebulun. So obviously it would point to a geographical location that those said people would inhabit in the last day. So that alone answers the question, but just to go even further, right? We could use the tribe of Asher, which I'll use them as an example dealing with this question. But I'm gonna further read this real quick before I get into that. West Indian blacks are said to be Benjamin, while American blacks are said to be Judah. And then both Argentina and Chile are said to be Naphtali. Isn't this an inconsistent way to identify the tribes? For example, is everyone in Argentina of Naphtali? How do you decide? See, what this man don't consider is that the Lord, he has the power and the ability to put the spirit on his people to find these type of things out. We have an unction from the Holy One, and we know all things. It's the spirit whom the world cannot receive, as the Lord said. The spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the sons of the living power. You can't receive it because the spirit does not rest with you. You're not one of us. Hey, just to quote Ecclesiasticus or Sirach and Apocrypha, chapter 39, and I believe the 24th verse, as his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks to the wicked. So this, in your fleshly carnal mind, this is something impossible. Like the Lord he just can't simply, it's just impossible for him to put his spirit upon his people to be able to find these things out in order to be gathered. The Lord's ways are not your ways, man. But we understand, I mean, just using common sense. Not everybody in the West Indies, in the Caribbean islands, is Benjamin. You literally have East Indians in Jamaica, in the West Indies. You got so-called black men, all right, in Mexico. You got so-called Mexicans in the Caribbean island. So, I mean, like, seriously, we've never said that every single African American is Judah. You don't know where they could be from. But we are certain that these geographical locations give I'm trying to, the term is slipping my mind right now, but basically based on the characteristics described in both Genesis 49 and Deuteronomy 33 would actually show you. All right. So I said I would use the tribe of Asher as an example, right? How do we know that Asher is talking about the people, the indigenous people from Colombia to Uruguay? Well, we go to Genesis 49, in which we know that this was Jacob given the eschatology or eschatos of what will befall his sons in the last days. And according to Daniel, the 12th chapter, the Lord prophesied that many shall go to and fro and knowledge shall be increased. So more understanding will be opened up in the last days to figure out some of these mysterious things. All right. We have more information as the Spirit sups with us. All right. So let's go down and let's deal with Asher real fast. I dealt with Zebulon. This is Asher, Genesis 49 and 20. It says, out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. So this is, one of the things that will be associated with the tribe of Asher. All right. That they would have an abundance of dainties, breads. Right. I mean, we know that the landmass of where the people of the tribe of Asher dwell is abundant in resources. Right. When you go to Deuteronomy 33, let's go to Deuteronomy 33. And let's go down to it is 24. And it says, and of Asher, he said, let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, as thy days, so shall thy strength be. So here's some more blessings associated with the tribe of Asher. Now, mind you, Moses, was he not a prophet? Was Moses not a prophet? Moses indeed was a prophet. Let's prove that. Deuteronomy 34 and verse 10, it says, and there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. So Moses was indeed a prophet, man. So going back to the previous chapter, it was prophesied that Asher will be blessed with children. They would be acceptable to their brothers, and he would dip his feet in oil. What does that mean? The landmass that he would have, that he would inhabit, it would be rich in oil, a natural resource that these nations to this day are fighting over, having all kind of wars over. You had the incident a few years ago where they tried to destabilize Maduro down in Venezuela, because we know that Venezuela is known to have high reserves of oil. All right. Matter of fact, I believe Venezuela, let me see if I can look it up. I think they have the highest reserves of oil in the earth. $304 billion barrels. According to the 2022 BP Statistical Review of World Energy, Venezuela has more proved oil reserves than any other country in the world. Venezuela's 304 billion barrels of proved reserves just edges out Saudi Arabia's 298 billion barrels. Both are far ahead of U.S. proved reserves of 69 billion barrels. So you got those people over there that living in third world condition because they're under the curses, but yet they're sitting on all this oil, which is a valuable resource to make a country rich. So that should tell you everything you need to know. All right. So we know that this does not, if we want to deal with the ancient Israel map of where Asher dwells, Asher actually dwells on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. All right, which actually borders Zidon. But there's no known information concerning the land of Asher being the place of oil reserves, having, high level reserves of oil. All right. Israel is not the whole land of Israel is not an OPEC country. So obviously this was prophetic. The children of Asher would be dwelling in a place that would be their blessing, that they would live in a place where is abundant of oil. And then it says, thy shoes shall be iron and brass. All right. And this isn't a coincidence. They also produce high mass of iron as well. I believe Brazil. Let me see. Says the Brazilian state of Minas Gerais was the leading iron ore mine producer in Brazil in 2021 with over 225 million metric tons produced. All right, so they're one of the largest producers of iron ore. You see? And also when you look up iron in the Hebrew, iron is what? Barazol. Barazol, man. Okay. If we put these things together in the spirit, you'll see, that, these things make sense. All right. This is how the Lord will sup with you to get you to understand and find these things out. But like Apostle Paul said, to those that are carnal, this is foolish to them. But this is, plain as day to the holy. Iron, iron, iron ore. You see that? So we were given even geographical clues in regards to the children of Israel and where they would dwell and who they would be. And are we saying that every person from Venezuela, Colombia, all the way down to Uruguay, every inhabited person is of the tribe of Asher down there? No. You got Edomites down there. You had the Portuguese that came over there and, raped some of the women, left seed. So you got tares down there. All right, you got in Belize, you got West Indian blacks that live in Belize, in Guyana. The tribes are scattered all over the place. They live amongst each other. Just like before we ended up over here, even though each tribe was given their inheritance, but you had men of certain tribes living in other inhabitants of the other tribes. We were all over the place, man. But some of these scriptures give you context clues. All right, they mention in this same article, Vocab mentions about Argentina and Chile, right? Going back to Deuteronomy 33 and 23, it says, "And of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor and full with the blessing of the Lord, possess thou the west and the south." Now let's go to an ancient Israel map and see if the geographical inheritance for Naphtali is south and west. Now, as we see, according to the map, Naphtali is up north, right? Naphtali is up north. It's not in the south or west in Israel. So what is that? What is that talking about? Possess thou the west and the south. Now, we look into the eschatology, how we were moved to the utmost part of the earth, then it would make sense that the land of Argentina and Chile would be, because when you look at the map, right? Let's go to South America map. And let's look. Now you look at the map of South America. What two countries are south and west? The farthest south and west of the continent. Argentina and Chile. But are we saying that every single person down there belongs to those tribes? No. But it's through faith, of course. Either you believe it or you don't. But it's generally roughly saying that you're going to identify that the Lord's people, based on these clues given to us in those blessings and those characteristics, prophesied in those scriptures, that the people will be dwelling in these places. All right. But of course, you got other ethnicities that migrate, they move into these places, so on and so forth. And I always mention this, me and other brothers, we always mention this. When it comes to us, we got to be questioned and we got to prove everything. But Others, they don't have to prove anything. They could just say things, identify with it, and then it's okay. It's never scrutinized. You got a whole news clip, and this was going back years ago, where you had a bunch of people from India and Ethiopia and all those places, and they came back on a plane to Israel, and they was being welcomed as the tribe of Manasseh. They were claiming that they identify with the tribe of Manasseh. And I remember brothers, I think, did lessons a few years back on it. There was not a peep from Vocab. He ain't mentioned, he ain't say a word. He ain't did no video. Why don't you show the same level of scrutiny? Why don't you, them people that was able to come back and just say, oh yeah, we're from the tribe of Manasseh, we're coming back to the Holy Land on planes, why not show the same scrutiny? Why not ask them the same questions that you're asking us? Because there's an agenda, that's why. Only focus on One West. Even the other Israelite groups are not a threat. Because y'all pretty much, through your actions, you're agreeing that these other groups ain't really got it. You know that One West has it. That's why you're only attacking One West. That's why you hold One West so dear unto you. But you can't really refute these facts, man. All right? No lie is of the truth. You can always disagree. And your whole job is to cast doubt. You want other people to not believe. But you gathering up a bunch of people that have the same, that disagree just like you, doesn't make us wrong. That just means that a lot of people just don't believe. And that's cool. All right. It tells you in the last days that faith will be barren. A lot of people will be taken in great confusion. The world is confused because the devil came out and deceived the whole world. That's why everybody's confused. And now you're fighting tooth and nail to keep those lies upheld. But it's getting obliterated through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, man. So this second question, through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, is answered. All right, this is how we're able to do that. I use 2 examples. All right. It's simple. The prophecy gave geographical clues, and I was able to back that up. You can go and do your own. You can, the same things that I searched out, you could search it up. But the thing is, we don't need to. We see, and that's the whole definition of faith. The evidence, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You need the evidence because you're tangible. You're fleshly. All right. This is why this isn't for just any old person. This is for the Lord's elect. The election are going to obtain it. Everybody else is going to be blinded. So I just want to, answer this second question. And Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praise to YAHAWASHI. Shalom.